You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers about hikers for everybody.
This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we hang out and talk about everything from hammocks and hammock camping to the group hangs from around the country. Hey everyone, welcome to the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we unwind, relax, and delve into all things hammock related. Join us as we swing into the world of hammocks, exploring tips and tricks for setting up that perfect hang, sharing stories of outdoor adventures, and discovering the latest trends in hammock camping and relaxation. Whether you're a seasoned hammocker or new to the art of hanging, this podcast is your cozy corner to kick back, escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and soak in the soothing atmosphere of the hammock culture. Prepare to be inspired, educated, and entertained as we embrace the hammock lifestyle together. So grab your favorite hammock, find that perfect spot to hang, and let's embark on a hammock-filled journey that will leave you feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to take on the world. This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where every episode is a breath of fresh air. Let's get started.
Howdy, hangers. Welcome to this week's episode of the Hammock Hangers Podcast. With me in person, well, at least in front of me, not actually in person, but we have the long-lost Skunkape. We have Paul Skunkape with us here today. How you doing, Paul?
What's up, AJ?
For those of you that kind of don't know that reference, Paul's name in my phone is Paul Skunkape, but Google, every time I read it, refers to it as Skunkape. So that is kind of Paul's.
So AJ's phone cannot pronounce my name, and AJ can't spell his. Pheonix.
That's very true. That is very true. I got another teacher commented on my mug that you made me.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, somebody misspelled Pheonix on here. I was like, no, that's actually how you spell it. Like, no, the O is like, no, just let it go. Like,
you know how many emails I've gotten from people?
Hey,
you know that you spelled Phoenix's name wrong, didn't you? Don't you? No.
I like to keep people on their toes.
Yeah.
So we did a staff play at school the other day, and I got the prestigious honor of being the narrator for this staff play. And at the rehearsal, literally the first time that I've ever read through the script and I'm reading out loud. Reading is not my forte. But they're like, oh, you're skipping over words. Haha, this is not how you pronounce this. Da, 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 da. Again, first time that I read it, reading out loud. And I'm like, if you guys keep talking, I'm going to give you like long algebraic equations and I'm going to make you do them in front of people and I'm going to judge you as you are doing them.
And
come at me, bro. Come at me. That is why
whenever back in school, if we had like an oral book report or something like that, I would always skip school. I would take a 0.
That just not surprised me.
Just give me the 0. I knew I could make it up for throughout the rest of the year.
You know, I've actually never minded the whole like presentation and stuff. I mean, I'm sure maybe at some point I felt like I just didn't want to do it, but I've always just liked being on stage and performing. And I mean,
yeah, not me.
That's essentially what I do every day in school. So
not me. Nope.
Oh, so. But my friend, HangCon is literally right around the corner. By the time this episode comes out, we will have approximately like 2 weeks left before the biggest hammock event of the year, HangCon 2025. It is hot on our heels, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not gotten your tickets, please go ahead and register on our website at hangcon.com and get your tickets. It's going to be a great event. We've got vendors galore. We've got some new vendors. We've got a lot of returning vendors. We have this like hammock guy that some people knows about, some guy named Shug from Minnesota.
Who's Shug?
And he's bringing a buddy or something like Hickory or something about a Maple King. I don't know. I guess some people know what it is. Now I'm excited.
Maybe a few.
I'm super excited about Shug and Hickory coming down, and we have this other guy who likes to camp in the woods and build things out of trees. Dave Canterbury, he's coming down. Super excited about meeting Dave for the first time and getting to know his crew, and maybe learning a little bushcrafting in the process. That man has probably forgotten more about bushcrafting and stuff that I personally know. I've never really been a big quote unquote bushcrafter. It's kind of like more of like I'm interested in the idea, but maybe not so much in the practice. But all the bushcraft events that I've done, in fact, I just came back from one. Just returned from the Rewild event that Rewild puts on. That it was at Doe Lake. Actually, it was the first time that I'd been back to Doe Lake since we used to do HangCon there.
How was that?
It was good. It was a great event. It really was a great event, and I look forward to going back next year. I did a introduction to hammock camping class for Sean in the event, and I will say it was a very well run event. The Florida Bushcraft crew. That a few of the two events that I went to this year, Bodier's event back in April or March earlier this year, as well as Rewild's event, they were both super informative. There were tons of classes that you could go to. The people were amazing. The venues were really, really nice. And just a very well run event. So if you're interested in bushcrafting, whether you be in Florida or any of the surrounding areas, check out both of those events. And Rewild has a YouTube channel as well and is on Instagram. Just great people. Go check them out. But yeah, the event was really, really cool. Probably one of the favorite things that happened at that event, they had two contestants that had been on Naked and Afraid, and they were doing a Q&A about just their experience and pros and cons of the show, and they got down to some nitty gritty stuff, and it was really, really cool. They did a raffle and stuff too, and but the biggest thing for me was kind of like the nostalgia of being back at Doe Lake. That was yeah.
Was it still the same out there?
I would say probably it looked like they had taken some kind of major tree damage as well. Kind of like Sertoma or Florida Sands has. But there were definitely less trees there. I definitely saw some places that it's like, hey, I used to hang right there. That tree's no longer there. Unfortunately, they hadn't replaced a lot of the horse poles and stuff. So I was going around and telling people, hey, I'd be very cautious of hanging on those horse poles because they tend to rot at the bottom.
Yeah, I was fixing to say those things were getting pretty rough back in the day when HangCon was out there.
Yeah, and but no, it's still a great place. Facilities there are really, really nice. I got to meet some really cool people there. A lot of people talking about HangCon and a lot of people talking about the podcast. There were a lot of hammocks out there too. So it was probably cool. More hammocks there than I expected to see. But yeah, it was, I really wish I could have stayed longer. Unfortunately, due to some other plans or commitments, that's the word I'm looking for, that I was involved with, I could only stay Saturday during the day. And I couldn't get to camp overnight, which is something I'd kind of really wanted to do, but I'm glad that I got to make it out there for the day. So, Sean, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It was a great event, buddy. And thanks
I was going to try and make it. I was going to try and make it out there myself, but with all that I've got going on right now,
you're busy as all get out right now.
Oh my God, you have no clue. Just trying to get everything ready for HangCon and everything else is. Yeah, I don't get much sleep.
Yeah, we're at HangCon concentrate planning right now. We had our planning weekend, and we got a lot of stuff done. A lot of stuff we didn't get done.
Yeah, I got
not necessarily all of within our control, but yeah. So it was a great event either way. I just like hanging out with my crew. Our crew is great.
Yep.
We get along well, and we share ideas, and yeah. So shout out to the rest of our HangCon crew. You guys are amazing. You make us look good. A lot of people say, "Oh, you guys do. You run a really smooth event, really well organized."
That's the
event.
whole crew. The whole crew.
That is really the sum of all the parts. Me and Paul are just two of the people that you may see a lot front up, but as far as like boots on the ground at the event, our crew is amazing. So thanks, guys.
I did get the event calendar up, and again, thanks to I think it was Dana. Yeah, I think it was Dana that caught my little snafu of not proofreading, and so one of the classes that we're gonna have at HangCon, just so I can clear this up for everybody, because I'm sure some people saw it and they got really excited, which is fine. But it is a pot koozie class, not a pot cookie class.
Oh okay? Man, so there's gonna be. I was really looking forward to the pot cookies.
That would have been probably the most crowded class that we
probably.
But it is a pot koozie class. So there is.
Considering some of the other festivals and stuff that I've been to out at Sartoga, I could totally see that being maybe one of the classes.
Well, I'm sure that Lotus Festival had a pot cookie class.
But maybe one day, Paul. Maybe one day.
Yeah. So, oh goodness.
But speaking of the pot cozy class, so we noticed that like that's one of our biggest classes that is at the event, and our residential water boy that kind of runs that class, who does a really great job. Which I mean, he's a great teacher. We are actually going to be offering 2 sessions of that class. So if you miss the one, have no fear. You get a second opportunity to participate in that class to get a pot cozy made for whatever pot that you have. And, maybe if you've got 2, you can learn a second time, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So getting some practice for not just one class, but 2.
Waterboy's doing the first one. I think Britt's doing the second one.
Okay, so Britt will be doing the second one. But again, well, both are teachers, so they kind of know what they're doing. So, but yeah, so let's talk about a little bit more about HangCon. So this year, just as a we're going to talk about some things that we are doing different this year. So listen up, even if you've been to our event in the past. This year, in efforts to streamline our registration process, we are selling tickets that can be purchased on our website, and that is really going to speed through registration. So you sign everything as far as like our liability release form and all the paperwork we need that you would normally sign at the event at online. And so when you register, what should people bring, Paul?
Their ticket, whether it be paper form that they printed out, or the saved email, or downloaded image of it. It's just some way of having that QR code available.
So when you come to registration, which will have a gate, if you've been to HangCon in the past, you'll know what we're talking about. And we will scan your ticket. You will still get a wristband, and then we will give you instructions on setting up. Now, our parking situation is going to look a little bit different this year, because as of right now, the parking lot that we've used for the last, all the years that we've been at HangCon is now a lake. It got really flooded by Helene, and the water has not gone back down, like hardly at all.
Any,
like it's still very much a lake. So the goal is to use the the field that is to the right of the gate when you come in for registration. We're getting the ball rolling on that, so that should offer a much better parking experience because the downside to the other one was if we got any bit of rain, that would kind of really muck down the parking lot. But hopefully that won't be the case as far as the pasture goes. Hopefully I can take care of that this week. That's kind of like on my to-do list. But yeah, now when you come and check in and after you've all registered and you get set up, we're still having everyone remove vehicles from the camping area and into the parking lot. The only exception to that would be the RV sites, which are, how many we got left of those, Paul?
We have 0.
We have
all
0.
10 have been sold, and that will be it. So the 10 people that got those, bought those spots, are the only 10 RVs that will be allowed into the park.
Yeah, and for those 10 people, you can park on your site, but everyone else, we are asking you to, after you've set up, to take your vehicle.
After you've unloaded.
Yeah. After you've unloaded, take your vehicle out to the parking lot. We do this for a couple of reasons. For one, it frees up the camping area because it doesn't block any camping spots, either for stands or for trees or for, the occasional tent too. And also it limits any potential, injury that people may do with a vehicle, either to other individuals or just the campground facilities themselves. So help us just make this event, what it needs to be. And, after you unload, move that vehicle into the parking lot. Now, as far as arrival, as you can see, our HangCon starts at 11 a.m. on that Thursday, the 16th. If you do arrive early, and you will be turned away. All right, there's no other way to put it. We're just not allowing other people on premise beforehand. That is just a way for our vendors to completely set up. It's a way for us to kind of prepare the grounds for all the things that we need to do to make this event as best as we can. At 11 o'clock, the floodgates will open, and we will have a line that's really down the road. But as people come in, they'll be taking up those slots and stuff. But we do ask that no one come to the event before 11 o'clock on that Thursday. So we've said it. I'm sure we'll be posting it on social media. So yeah, this is the declaration from the mayor of HangCon. Do not show up before 11 o'clock. So yeah. So let's talk about for those of you that have never been to the camp. For one, it's like one of our favorite places to camp. It's a really great campground. The facilities there. So it is a campground. They do have bathrooms on a numerous occasion, or numerous locations, and they do have very well lit showers, at least the bathhouse, because I know this because Paul really worked really hard last time we were up there installing brand new LED lights around the bathhouse. So you will look for the blazing light in the sky as far as the lights go for the bathrooms and showers. One of the things that we encourage everybody to bring every year that most people tend to forget, one of those things is a towel. They don't have paper towels in the bathroom. It's all hand warmers. So if you would like to dry off, I encourage you to make sure that you pack at least some type of towel to bring with you as well. So, Paul, do you want to talk about the tree situation? And, should I bring a stand or not?
Yeah. So, how many trees? I know Jason had told us they lost what?
It's between like 20 and 30
trees
in the main area of the campground.
In the main, I mean, there's still a good bit of trees. It's not like a barren open field or anything. But yes, our numbers for the 2025 event are growing. We're at almost 400 right now. So I easily see us hitting 5+. So if you do have a stand or stands, you might want to bring them just in case.
And if you have your eyes set on maybe like a turtle bug, a little birdie has told me that Cal and Kristen will have numerous stands to sell, including, and this was just like posted like this morning, there may be some glimpses of a Cricket 2.0 showing up at HangCon, available for purchase, maybe.
Uh-oh.
Something about some carbon fiber. I don't know.
Like 4 pound?
Maybe. It's stupid light.
Something like that?
Stupid light.
Yeah, I've got to get me one.
So yeah,
there's a lot of stuff I got to get.
Yeah.
We gotta look. We got. God, I'm gonna have to take out a loan before HangCon, which we'll get to all the vendors here shortly. But
yeah, if you have a stand available, and if you want the greatest flexibility of camping exactly where you want to be, whether it be you want to be close in on the action, you want to be close to the fire, you want to be close to the vendors, you want to be close to the venue hall or the pavilion, bring a stand, especially if you're planning on arriving later than Thursday. A lot of those prime spots, I'm going to tell you straight up, are going to be taken. And it's on a first come, first serve basis. However, if you bring a stand, man, sky's the limit. There is plenty of places in the main area that you can camp and be really close to the action. Same thing with our primitive area as well. Unfortunately, that area has also been affected by some hurricane damage. But bringing a stand will definitely open up that possibility for you to kind of pick your prime location to enjoy the event in the comfort of your hammock, wherever that may be hung. So a lot of questions that we get asked every single year is, hey, what are the temperatures looking like? It's Florida. Is it always going to be, sunny and 80 degrees? Most of the time, yes. But occasionally for HangCon, it can get a little chilly. So, Paul, what type of quilts are you planning on packing for HangCon this year?
I'm gonna have all my quilts.
Well, maybe that was a poor choice, because I'm sure that I will bring a slew of different ones as well.
Yes.
But like what?
I will have 40 degrees. I will have 20 degrees. I think I got a couple of 0 degrees. Which I've got to bring them for my wife. She gets cold next to an ice cube. So, and I'm sure. Well, I know for a fact that I will have a couple more quilts at HangCon, because I've already requested for a couple to be brought. So of course, just plan and bring what you have. Don't think that just because it's Florida, the sunshine state, tropical, TV lies a lot of times type deal. It gets cold down here at times, and usually it will be during HangCon, because 9 times out of 10 we will have a little bit of rain come through.
Yeah, it always rains.
And I know I've heard a lot of the our northern friends and stuff like that. Oh well, we're used to it. We got the temperatures 0 or low teens and all this. So being 30 degrees ain't gonna be no big deal. Our 30 degrees is a lot different down here than 30 degrees up there.
I mean, yeah, we heard some people from, Michigan and Minnesota say, you guys are ridiculous for wearing those puffer jackets when it's 60 degrees. But then they see,
then they came down here,
and then they realize the humidity.
Right. I know Carla with a K was kind of surprised last year when she came down, because she was like that. So, because she's from up there in Michigan. And no, Wisconsin. She's from Wisconsin. You got me on Michigan crap. But
It's one of those
yeah,
northern
she came
states.
down and she was actually cold because of the humidity and stuff that we have down here. I mean, it's damp. It's a damp cold.
Yeah.
So just plan for cold weather.
I mean,
It's better to bring it and not need it than to not bring it and then be miserable.
Yeah. I would say if you're traveling and you say, hey, like, I can't be like Phoenix and bring like a trailer with me, I would say, you might be fine with a 40-degree set, especially like if you can supplement in some way. But if you have a 20-degree set, at least a 20-degree underquilt, you should be fine. Like I have never.
That's my go-to 20.
Yeah.
Especially 20 under. A lot of times I use a 20 under and 40 over.
Yeah.
But my under is usually always 20. But yeah, so I mean your options are plan and bring for the cold weather, or just not worry about it and hope for the best, but bring a little extra spending cash, because I'm sure that UGQ and JRB and some of those others
Hammock
will be
gear
very happy. Hammock gear.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of quilt vendors that will happily take your money.
Yeah.
Hang Tight is a great, budget friendly quilt that you can, add to that 40 degree to make it 20 degree compatible. Or, hey, we've got some really great 20 degree quilt vendors out there as well. So, yeah.
And then, I mean, you're going to have superior gear as well.
That's right. Danny will be there. Yeah.
With quilted hammocks. So,
and speaking of, with the weather, there usually is one day where we do get rain. So, bring a tarp accordingly.
Yeah.
We've had some years where we've had some crazy windy rain. We've had some years with just a sprinkle, but there's usually always rain. I can't remember a HangCon at all that it didn't rain in some capacity at least once. So right. Yeah, be prepared, guys. Be prepared.
At least some sort of moisture falling from the sky.
Yeah. Also, with a lot of questions that we get involved, kind of the food situation. So the food situation has not changed. If you've been to HangCon in the past, we do provide breakfast and dinner for all our participants all the days of the event. And we also do have lunches available for purchase on all the days of the event. Now, if you would like to, venture out to see what other like restaurants are in the area, that's something that I like to do. Just be aware that the closest one is literally 30-40 minutes away. So you're looking at an hour and a half round trip that you'll be leaving the event. So even though I encourage you to explore to your heart's content, but staying on site and just buying lunch from us really helps support the event, as well as it keeps you kind of locked in, and you won't have to worry about missing a class or a demo, or maybe catching a glimpse of kind of that VIP that you would like to maybe have a conversation with. So we will be providing lunches throughout the event as well for purchase. So yeah. Come grab a bite to eat during lunch, or bring your own. We encourage camp to your own hang, and if you would like to have your own food, that's okay too. Now, with camping comes that hey, what's the firewood situation looks like, and we're happy to report that our fire wood will be available for our campfire, and we've got some really great plans in the works for some really cool campfire, bonfire, camp structures that Juan is kind of brainstorming what he wants to do this year. He always comes up with some crazy Instagram worthy fire contraptions throughout the event that usually get bigger until we culminate on Sunday night. But if you maybe a big fire isn't really your forte, and you would like kind of your own kind of private campfire, that's okay too. We encourage you to again enjoy the event to your content, and the camp host is also a firewood kind of vendor. So, and his phone number is posted various places around the park, and you can give him a call, and they will deliver firewood directly to your campsite. I want to say it's like $25-$30 a wheelbarrow load, and you get really quite a bit more than you would if you bought something from Publix or something.
Right.
But and with that, you're helping support the park as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation all around.
The two things that we have to stick with and request is that, one, you do not bring firewood in from another state. That is a big no-no. And also, if you do decide to have a fire at your campsite, just make sure it's in one of the fire rings.
Yes, yeah.
They've got fire rings all over the place that you can just grab and pull over to your camp area. But yeah, just make sure that they are in a fire ring.
So, well, with that being said, Paul, how about you talk to us about the plethora of vendors that we will have, not just that are supporting the events, but vendors that we will actually be able to see on site, have conversations with, have meals with, and really fellowship with at the event.
Okay, so yeah, this is going to be a long list, but so we have, what did I figure earlier? It was 48 donating, 48 total vendors that are participating in some way, shape, or form with HangCon, whether it just be donating or actually attending and setting up a booth, being on site as an on-site vendor. So I will go through the list of the 48 vendors that we have. And then after that, I'll name the ones that will actually be on site. So we have Yobo Gear, Hanging High Hammocks, Wahala Hammocks, JRB, Sugarland Shines, Hammock Gear, Dutchware Gear, UGQ, 803 Outpost, Hang Tight, Bat Stoves, Majestic Hammock, Superior Gear, Suncoast Outdoors, 2-Speed Hammocks, Be Good Honey, Red Paw, Haven, Insect Shield, Flip Fuel, Dream Hammock, Model, Sawyer, Pathfinder School with Dave Ketterberry, Artistic Memorable Designs, which will have all of the official HangCon merchandise, shirts, tumblers, all that stuff. AMOC, Soul Gear, Tense Outdoors, The Adventure Source, Hilltop Packs, Fuse Lenses, Legacy, which is the wine, beer, and spirits that Little Ricky is a part of. The Will McLean Foundation, of course. Hammock Kingers podcast will be there. We'll be doing some podcasting and everything. The Ultimate Hang, Fire and Ice Outdoors, Lightheart Gear, Ursac, Lesovic. Of course, the Hammock Kingers flea market and trading post will be set up again this year for everybody. Mike D's Barbecue, Mr. Mox, Cajun Outdoors, which is Barry.
Mm-hmm. And he'll be representing a slew of different manufacturers.
Multiple, right. Townsend, Blue Way Adventures, Story Leather Goods, and Tough Possum Gear. Now, the ones that will be on site and set up, so you can go to, talk to, visit, look at the gear, feel the gear, smell the gear if you want. Whatever suits you. 803 Outpost Coffee. AMOC is coming across the big pond to set up and be with us. Bat Stoves, Cajun Outdoors, Dutchware Gear, Fire and Ice, Hammock Gear, Hang Tight, Hanging High, Haven, JRB, Lightheart Gear, Majestic Hammock, Mr. Mox, Red Paw Packs, Story Leather Goods, Sugarland Shine, Soul Gear, Superior Gear, the Pathfinder School. It's going to be Dave and I think 3 or 4 of his other instructors. The Ultimate Hang, Derek is going to be there. He's going to be set up. He has a new book that he will be selling and signing and all that. UGQ, Walhalla Hammocks, Yobo Gear, and Artistic Memorable Designs. Those are all the ones that will be there set up and ready for you to come and see us and talk
a lot of
to
places
and all that.
Will happily take your money.
Yes.
But a very wise investment. We are very particular on who we have as our events. As far as vendors go, we want to make sure that we believe in their products. So you can kind of trust all of our vendors are really making really quality gear that we would happily use any of their gear as well. So
I think we do use most of it. Between me and you, I think we have pretty much all of it.
We have all the things. We have all the things. So Paul,
and if we don't bury us.
if we don't bury us. So Paul, we've gotten kind of HangCon kind of talked about and but gosh, 2024 has been a wild ride for us. Not just for the podcast and for the event, but just for HangCon itself. It has been an incredible year with some really big surprises that this time last year when we did our year end wrap up, I would have never thought that 2024 would have been the amazing ride that it has. And I just kind of want to go through kind of our year. So I want to start with our top moments, and I'm going to do a top 5. And Paul, you kind of fill in where you have maybe like your top 3 or something like that. Unfortunately, Paul's work schedule has turned him into an indentured servant for most of the year.
Turn me into something.
But yeah, so I'm going to do my top 5 moments of this year, and I promise that it won't just be 5 moments of us being in Denmark, because that was we've already done that episode.
That's what I was going to say. I think our top number 1 moment was last year at HangCon when Christian and Lars came up to us to ask us about HangCon, and
Europe. Then the seed was planted, and what the fruits that grew out of that seed have just been incredible. In fact, that was my number 5 was meeting Lars and Christian at HangCon, and just that relationship and that seed that was planted that has sprung forth a wonderful international relationship, not just with them and the Danish Outdoor Festival, but just the connections that we were able to make, and the friends that we were able to make with that. And, they probably are like my highlight thing that I'm looking forward to most about HangCon is seeing all of our Danish friends coming over.
Yes, because Christian and Lars are coming over along with
Jonas.
There's like 20 or 25 others from Denmark coming over. Then you got Amok coming over. It's gonna be awesome.
It's been a wild ride. So my second so I want to say like my favorite moment maybe in Denmark, and there were a lot of them. There really was, but this kind of kills a couple birds with one stone. But just our experience at the Viking hut. It was the first time I got to meet Shug for the first time, and that was just crazy awesome. I'm really looking forward to having you guys meet Shug as well. He really is a stupendous individual.
Yes. I can't wait to see Shug again.
Yeah, it just a great guy. He completely fills the bill of everything that you want him to be. Now, we also have just the stew that Lars made was just amazing. And just the vibe of the Viking hut. Like, that was just so cool. So cool. My next one was just my summer vacation. Specifically, just the area and the things that we saw around Franconia Notch. Just that whole area was just really, really, really cool. The only downside with it being like 500 degrees and me not being able to hike Franconia Notch Ridge, that was kind of a bum situation. But the rest of the area was just absolutely amazing. Like the Flume Gorge was probably like one of my highlights for the entire trip, as far as like the places that we saw. That was just crazy cool. My next one was meeting Chris Duffy finally, and getting, the short time that I got to spend with him. Really great guy. And I'm wishing him the best of for him and his daughter with their Olympic ski runs that they're going to be doing and training for the Olympics coming up. Great guy. And, I'm interested to see what the future brings for Chris, and, some potential podcast ideas that he talked about as well. And finally, my trip out to California this summer was really, really cool. Meeting with Adam, and hopefully the wonderful things that will sprout from that relationship as well. That I'm not quite ready to release completely out of the bag yet, but maybe at HangCon we can kind of pull the veil back on that trip a little bit more. But that was just a great trip. Really great guy, and he will be joining us for HangCon this year. So Adam with SoCal Hangers will be participating with us, and he gets to kind of experience what the old East Coast has to, what our East Coast hang is. And I'm interested to see how that compares to kind of the West Coast vibe that they have out there, which is crazy relaxed and pretty awesome. But as far as moments, it's been a wild ride. It's been crazy awesome, and it's it was like, oh, I can't wait for the new year. It's like, no, I had a blast in 2024. I had an absolute blast.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think mine, especially like my top three, all of mine are from people that I've met, from, like I said, start off with, Christian and Lars, and where that, took us. And then of course getting over there and, meeting Shug, because I know, I've chatted with Shug, since 2011, whenever I first started getting into hammock camping and stuff like that.
I had not talked to him before the Viking.
Well, talk to him. No,
and no, I'm not.
That's why bitter. I said that's what text. Through yeah, get over it. But through hammock forums, because he was one of the ones that whenever I first got into hammock camping, he helped out a lot. There was actually some people on the forums that, you got those people that you ask a question and, of course they know everything there is to know. So they want to throw out the snide, smart aleck comments and stuff like that. But then, Shug came on and he helped me. So it was really awesome, finally meeting him in person. And of course, I had talked to him before you did, which that was a highlight of my life. But and then, also last year at HangCon meeting, Corey with, Majestic.
Yes.
Corey is, he's freaking awesome. He's like one of those people that even, meeting him for the first time at HangCon, it was like I had known him forever, but meeting him,
we were like attached at the hip for like most of the trip, which that's fine. I am okay with that.
At Denmark, I'm talking even at HangCon last year, just chatting with him. But so meeting him, led into me getting my what I personally believe is one of the most comfortable freaking hammocks out there. So I've actually got another one on the way that I should have, thinking for HangCon.
Sweet.
So, I'm passing it off that it's for my wife, but that's just an excuse that we use.
It's all a business expense at this point. It's all a business expense.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah.
Well, speaking of gear, I got the opportunity to try a lot of gear this year in various capacity, and so this is my top 5 highlights of the year, and I'm gonna go from like number 5 all the way to number 1. My number 5 is actually a piece of gear that I'd had for a while that got destroyed, and I bought a new one. And it was not something that I personally used, but I benefited quite a bit. It was my long, wide xenon double tarp from Dutchware that we took to Denmark, that my wife used. It was a lifesaver for her. It gave her plenty of room to cover our gear, which we totally did not pack light for that, and I will never pack like that ever again. It covered our suitcases while we were set up in the woods. Our vagabond little Hooverville that we had built up, but that xenon wide tarp is massive. Not quite to the level of the behemoth massive, but for her, it was a great place. It allowed her to close doors, to kind of, cut off from, the wind and the rain. Also
give her privacy and stuff.
Which was huge for her. It was able to go down pretty much all the way to the ground. She had almost like a whole living room set up, that she had a chair that she could sit down on outside of the hammock, and plenty of room. And she loves it. And when my wife is happy, I am happy. Shout out to Dutch with that piece of gear. That xenon wide tarp is an amazing piece of gear. All right, so my number 4 is my Loco Libre 30-degree top quilt. I love that.
Oh, wait, original.
Like an OG, Libre. Like a George.
Yes, OG. George.
George. George sewn Loco Libre quilt. Probably, one of the very last ones. Maybe, I don't know for sure the last ones, but definitely one of the last ones that George put out. I'm so honored to have that is my piece of gear that I purchased this year. And gosh, it was totally worth the price tag. It's a super well made top quilt. Those kind of chevron designs as far as the baffling go is just beautiful. And let's just say it works to a T. It's got a sewn foot box, and with plenty of room, it's kept me crazy warm, and it's crazy comfortable. I love the draft collar on the top quilt. Yeah, it's really, really great. It's really, really a great quilt, and I love it. Now, my number 3. So getting in the top 3. And this was really close between 2 and 3. They seem like they are very similar, but they're very different between the 2 and 3. Although they are essentially the same thing, kind of, sort of, but not really. My number 3 is my Superior Gear Voyager hammock. Superior Gear that uses the synthetic insulation for the insulate, and it worked like a T for me. I had planned on using it I had planned on lending it to a buddy of mine for fall sprawl, because he has a down allergy. I was like, hey, I got you covered. Unfortunately, the hurricane came through, and he was left at home helping a buddy clean up after some disaster that he had from the storm. So I said, you know what? I've got it. So I'm going to give her a shot. And it lived up to the expectations. I'm not a huge fan of synthetic insulation, because some of my experiences in the past has not like lofted up that well, or it's, just kind of weird to work with. Sometimes it's really hard to kind of spread the insulation out. Like down is pretty easy to do relatively. But the Superior Gear Voyager really fit the bill as far as, keeping me warm. It actually dropped below 40 degrees one of the nights, and I did not know it. I was toasty, roasty, warm the entire night. And now that I know that Superior gears need a longer ridgeline, it was so much more comfortable with it as well. So shout out to Danny with Superior Gear for that new hammock for me this year. My number 2 is the hammock that I took Denmark and that I spent most of my summer in, is my quilted chameleon from Dutchware. I have a 40-degree quilted chameleon. And yes, I just talked about an insulated hammock, but they fit 2 different bills. I really enjoyed the quilted chameleon. For one, I could use all the accessories that I already have with an X'd undisclosed variable for the number of chameleons that I own. But I was able to harvest
hashtag
don't tell Don. I was able to harvest some of the components from that into really making that just a great option with plenty of storage. I got the spreader bar bug net. That was definitely a feature that I didn't know I needed until I had it, and I was like, oh my, this is a game changer. It seems very simple, but just that spread of that bug net off your face, it really gave me the experience that the Ridge Runner has as well. And y'all, not having to worry about an underquilt, it's a game changer. It really is. I never thought that I would say, you know what, I'm giving up. I thought I was done with gathered ends, honestly.
I think that's what I'm going to end up going with for my wife. Is I don't know if it'll be Superior Gear or if it's going to be the chameleon, but it's going to be one of the quilted hammocks, just so you don't have the fiddle factor.
You don't have to deal with the underquilt.
Yeah.
Man, it takes so much of the worry about, especially if you're getting down into like those lower. I mean, nobody wants to be cold when they're sleeping.
Right.
That just makes that's a killer for me, is being cold and not being able to warm back up. But not having to worry about that, and fiddling with here, there, everywhere lines, and is this cinched up enough?
Right.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I loved about the Ridge Runner. Like, you attach 4 points and you're done. But not having to attach an underquilt at all, it's nice.
Yeah,
it was nice. So with the Superior Gear, the Chameleon being my 2 and 3, man, and this is going to seem like kind of a moot point, but my number 1 piece of gear is a piece of gear that I never thought that I would actually purchase and enjoy as much as I did. But it has been hands down my favorite piece of gear this year, and that is my Anaconda stuff sack. I didn't think a stuff sack could make my list at all, but as far as my number 1 piece of gear, the Anaconda is my number 1 piece of gear for 2024.
I almost had one at Fall Sprawl.
Almost. I almost had another one. What I should.
Well, no, that was the same one that I almost had because I was going to steal it from you, but then somebody big boyed it from me.
Somebody picked it up, but alas.
Well, somebody already had dibs on it first, and they just set it down so they could go and check to make sure that they had the funds, or they went to get the funds. Actually, I should say. And so when they set it down, people say I'm not very nice at times, but you
showed restraint. Nice. I am proud of you, Paul.
I did.
I am proud. Even though I don't know if I would.
People just lie about me, is what it is.
Maybe that's a stretch, but at that moment you were very nice.
My God, why are we friends?
No,
lines. Why are we friends?
The Anaconda made setup and tear down just so much easier this summer, and that's where I really got to put it through its paces. Being able to just slug tube everything together and set everything up, set my hammock suspension up, unfurl it, set my other side of my hammock up, and knowing my quilts were already in place, all I had to do was hook to my suspension and it was done. Oh my goodness, especially when you're packing up and setting up, maybe every night or even every other night. And when you're doing a lot of that setup, tear down, it's so much nice to just have two things that you got to worry about, and everything else just sucks up right into a stuff sack that you can pack away. It packs down crazy small. It was also able to pack down easily into a carry-on. I took it as a carry-on both to Denmark and out to California as well. Man, it's a great piece of gear. It's a piece of gear that I would buy over again. In fact, I'd love to get my hands on another one. That's probably maybe something in 2025 that I pick up again, is another Anaconda. It's such a great piece of gear that I will sing the praises for, Pickle and Trailheads and Dutch, and just that collaboration together. You have a really great piece of gear in the Anaconda stuff sack. So what about you, Paul?
I definitely have me one too.
What are some pieces of gear that you've used this year that has kind of really wet your whistle for really great gear?
Well, I mean, of course, I haven't been able to, with work and stuff, I haven't been able to get out quite as much as what you have. So as far as getting new gear and trying it out and stuff like that, I haven't had as much of an opportunity. But I'm still, my number one is my Majestic hammock. I mean, just the comfort that I get from it is just phenomenal. Even now, still, every time I lay in it, it's one of those things that shouldn't feel the way that it does, and still can't explain it. And of course, I still keep trying to get the secret out of Corey, but he won't divulge that secret.
You don't sew anyway, Paul.
I know I don't sew, but
so, what are some pieces of gear that maybe is on your radar for 2025?
Well, I will have my new my second Majestic, of course, quilted hammock. Again, don't know if it'll be the Chameleon or the Superior gear. Definitely I get one of the Anacondas. Then, of course, with if Kristen and Cal is fixing to release a 4-pound freaking cricket.
Yeah, man.
It's always gotta get me a cricket, a light cricket.
You gotta get another. Well, I would definitely say,
well, 4-pound freaking cricket that sets up quick like the turtle bug. I'll take that thing hiking with me.
Yeah, like 4 pounds up like that opens up a lot of possibilities for a lot.
I would take that hiking with me.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is, 4 pounds added to my pack weight. What I got my pack weight down to, I'd still only be at 16-pound pack.
Just still crazy light. I mean, in my opinion, right? I'm never going to be one of the ultralighters or whatever. That's just not my bag. But
I won't ever be one of the ultralighters. Like some of these people that
I bring a fanny pack.
Right? They got a freaking Mylar. One of those Mylar blankets and a fanny pack, and that's about it. And they're living the life. Yeah, no, they're freezing too. They got to be miserable.
Oh yeah, like that's not my that doesn't sound like a fun trip in the woods.
No, frozen snot coming out of their nose and shivering. It's all fine.
It's fine. I'm okay. This is fun. This is fun. Are you crying? No, I'm not crying. This is happy tears.
Happy tears.
Oh, maybe. Well, I guess goodness. So. I got a lot of the gear that I had planned in 2024 to get. But I would say like some of the things that are on my radar for 2025, I've got to get a UGQ Bandit. Like that is.
Oh, no, I do. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of UGQ quilts that I plan on picking up at HangCon.
Oh, okay.
As well.
Yeah, like I definitely like that. That's probably at the top of my list. I want a UGQ quilt. I just got finally. I've been wanting one for, oh my gosh, the entire time that I've been hammock camping. So all the way back to 2015, I have been wanting a Scully so bad, and I got one.
You don't have a Scully?
I did not have a Scully.
You don't have one now?
I do. I got one.
Oh, you do have one now?
I got one last week.
Oh, okay.
When they were doing their Black Friday sale, I ordered one for me, and hashtag don't tell Dawn. I ordered one for her as well.
He said he's bringing a bunch of them to HangCon.
Good. Yeah, like that's something that
he's gonna have a lot of those. He said he's gonna be bringing a lot of the Quillos and quilts and all that. So
yeah,
I put in a request for a couple of specific quilts. I don't really care the color, but size wise, because I wanted a couple of the long wides.
Yeah. So yeah, the Bandit is definitely on my list as far as quilts goes. Let's see, the new Yobo stand. Oh my goodness! As much as I do love my turtle bug, I do. It's a great stand. The 2.0 cricket, I'm really interested to see what that actually entails. Also, whatever other newfangled things that people will be releasing at HangCon as well. It's kind of got me stoked as well. Another kind of random.
Chad's bringing a couple of something. He didn't say what, but Chad.
Ooh, that sounds.
There's going to be something that he's releasing at HangCon.
Yeah. Interesting. You got my interest perk there, Chad. Another thing that I would love to get my hands on, and this is kind of random, just, I saw one in Denmark and I really, really want one. Amok has a coffee cup. Like a little tin one, like our Danish Outdoor Festival, which I'm, if you can hear that, I am drinking coffee out of at the moment. They have one that is hammock themed. I want one of those this year, whether they bring some over to in Florida or I pick one up in Denmark again. I want one of those cups.
You know what I want from over in Denmark?
What's that?
Which I've been meaning to ask Christian or Lars. I don't even know what they would cost. I don't even know what they cost, but I've got to get one whenever I'm over there. And that is one of the deer.
Oh, the pelts?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I just want to get one to put in the damn hammock and lay on. That thing, laying on them in the Viking hut.
Mm-hmm.
That was like really warm and comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, it's they were really nice. So
I gotta see what those cost.
So what you're telling me, Paul, is unlike our original plan, you will be checking a bag to come back on the airplane.
Oh, to come back, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna have as much going over this time, but coming back might be a little different. Maybe.
You're totally checking a bag. I'm calling
don't tell Deanna.
So, but yeah, so 2025 is right on the gate, and we have some of our goals for next year. I've got a few different trips that I am planning on. Obviously, our goal is to make HangCon Florida the best event that it can be, and it is shaping up to be one really great event. I'm really looking forward to just the family reunion that it feels like, as well as the new friends and family that we will meet this year. I can guarantee it. Not to mention HangCon Denmark as well, or HangCon Europe and the Danish Outdoor Festival. It's going to be completely different, and it's still going to be completely awesome. I cannot tell you the just the enthusiasm that I have for that event over there.
We got to start working on another country now, too.
Man.
Don't know which one.
All right. Out of the, maybe we're up to like 23 listeners now. If somebody of those 23 listeners are in another country that would happily help us set up another HangCon event, maybe Australia. We've gotten some emails from people in Australia. I've never been to Australia.
See, I would, I would love, and I think this is just because I want to go to these places and hike them and see them anyhow. And that's Scotland and Ireland.
Yeah. The motherland. I would love just somewhere in the UK. Like, all right, Tensile, like hook us up. Hook us up. Yeah, somewhere in the UK or maybe like Japan. I know there's the Dutch has gone over for the chameleon hang every year. They've done it. They've done it for a few years now. That would be a great place.
Yeah.
And then as the running gag, and if you were listening, I sincerely apologize, but at this point, it's on brand. Our friend from Japan that I have still not sent stuff to, that I would love to personally hand a HangCon US gift basket to over.
Well, we're gonna that poor guy. I mean, you Brited this guy. You have Brited this guy.
I have Brited. Is that
you have
what we're
Brited
calling
this guy?
Is that
yes.
what we're calling
yes.
it now?
Yes.
We have coined the
guy.
term Briting something.
Yes. I'm not talking about the British. We're talking about Brit.
Briting.
Our guy. Our friend. Which, if he listens to this, may not be after this. We love you, Brit.
We definitely like to drop nuggets in to see if our friends and part of our crew listen to any of our ramblings on our podcast. And so far, I do know Matt listens. So hey,
and
Waterboy.
we know Florida Hanger listens.
Oh yes.
And neither of y'all can run back and tell Brit that we're talking about him. Find out on his own.
Lord.
But yeah, that poor guy. We're gonna have to give him a whole freaking basket of HangCon
stuff. So some other things that are shaping up for 2025. We have already started brainstorming of our summer 2025 road trip, and right now it's looking like potentially British Columbia, Washington State might be an option. When we're traveling out, I am super excited because the possibility of returning to Glacier National Park has not been shut down. And man, getting to drive the Going to the Sun Road finally really, really thrills me. I love out west. I love the Rockies. Yeah, really looking forward to that. But yeah. Maybe looking at potential camping spots in Georgia, because one of our goals for next year definitely is to establish some maybe mini cons, little smaller events in different places around the country that we can showcase hammock camping and kind of spread some HangCon love to places outside of just Florida. So Georgia seems to be one of our next great adventures down the road. So yeah,
we can I can start on like the 10-year plan, or
I'm
you want to start on a 10-year plan?
Yeah. What do you have some pie in the sky ideas that you're throwing me into?
Well, I'm sure there's several that I can come up with. But I'm
already terrified of your 10-year plan, because sweet fancy Moses, if this year hasn't broadened our horizon, I can't imagine what your 10-year plan might ensue.
Just finding different locations and spreading out.
Yeah,
just don't know where yet.
I know you had tossed out the idea of a HangCon jet, but
oh yeah,
we have to sell a lot of merch.
HangCon 1.
HangCon what?
HangCon 1.
We're ultralighters. We are ultralighters.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, man. Yeah. So we have a slew of different guests that we would love to bring on in 2025. Definitely a lot of planning that is going into those episodes and getting kind of the slots lined up. We're planning on doing a lot of recording at HangCon. Hopefully that actually comes to fruition. But yeah,
hopefully, Juan don't fire up a chainsaw this time.
Yeah, there's that.
Juan.
But yeah, 2024 has been an absolute amazing year. I'd like to thank all of our listeners and all of our subscribers and all of our, Hammock Hangers podcast family that has taken time to give us a positive review on Facebook and liked us on Instagram and given us a subscribe.
Just liked us in general.
Yeah, just liked us in general. Yeah, just at least you tolerate
At least put up with us.
At least put up with us. If nothing else, turn us on so you can zone out on a long road trip or somewhere. We appreciate all of our listeners that have made this year the wonderful blessing that it has been this year. Thank you for all the support for not just HangCon, but HangCon Europe as well. We really appreciate the relationship that we have established with the Danish Outdoor Festival and those wonderful, wonderful individuals. I couldn't say anything more about the Will McLean Foundation. They have been an absolute amazing asset for us with HangCon. Thank you to all of our vendors that have supported us in various ventures. Thank you to all of our guests that we've had on the podcast for 2025. Thank you for 2024. And thank you for all the upcoming guests that we will have on 2025. You've made for some really, really great interviews and for this year, as well as coming up next year. And if you've listened to us, if you've said hey to us at a hang, thank you. I cherish all the fellowship that I've gotten this year, both home and abroad. And with that, we're going to close out 2024 with the thank you, and most especially thank you to Paul. You work so much more on this podcast than anyone really knows, except for me, and even then, I really don't know what you do, nor do I want to. I'm perfectly content.
I can teach you.
No. I'm happy with my ignorance, and I will bask in that ignorance.
Wait, hold on. Let me tell you. Okay. Now, just real quick, because last week's, 2 weeks, the last episode, Kristen and Cal, the oboe gear, Kristen had sent me a message and said, sorry for all the extra editing and stuff like that. I had no idea what she was talking about because I hadn't edited yet. And then I edited. Last week's episode, oh my God. Between you dropping signal like 15 times throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, ever since the hurricane, my internet signal has been really, really cruddy. Luckily, I think Spectrum has fixed that.
I'm sure you'll find some other way to keep me on my toes.
I gotta give you something to do. It's not like you do anything.
Yeah, no, not at all. I know I don't sleep, but so before you close this out and everything, I do want to, because we don't do this a lot, and every episode we do always have one person that always beats us to the punch to tell us good morning, and then every episode. So I'm gonna try and beat him to the punch this time, and say good morning, John.
Good morning, John. Oh, Lordy. Well, guys, we really look forward to meeting you all either for the first time or again in 2025. And we hope that your hammocks stay hanging. So until next year in 2025, happy hanging, everybody.
As we gently sway out of another hammock-filled episode, we want to thank you, our wonderful listeners, for hanging out with us on the Hammock Hangers podcast. We hope that you have found relaxation, inspiration, and a renewed sense of connection to nature through our discussions. Remember to keep that hammock spirit alive in your daily life, whether it's by taking a few moments to unwind in your own backyard oasis or by planning your next hammock adventure in the great outdoors. Embracing the tranquility, embracing the simplicity, and never forget the joy that comes from simply hanging around. Before we part ways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with all things hammock related. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for the Hammock Hangers Podcast. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to hang with you again on our next episode. Until then, stay relaxed, stay adventurous, and keep on hanging those hammocks high. From all of us here at the Hammock Hangers Podcast, we wish you peaceful hangs and endless relaxation. Thank you for tuning in. Happy hanging, everyone.